Dead Island 2 has taken so long to come out since announced that at one point there was actually more chance of a real zombie outbreak happening before we got to play it. Thankfully it's finally out, a week early no less, so now we can all live our zompocalypse fantasies again without actually getting our hands dirty. So the premise of this one is that the zombies have risen in LA, or Hell A as they like to call it. See what they did? And as you and a bunch of others attempt to escape on a plane, it's overrun and the plane crashes right in the middle of it all. You immediately get bitten while trying to help someone out, realise you're sort of immune, and then get taken in by a Hollywood horror actress and her cronies before you set out on a mission through LA in order to find a cure. You get to choose from one of 6 players, and they all have different attributes and some unique abilities that will complement your playstyle. I won't go into too much detail here as it's all covered online already in previews, but the aim here is to up the replayability factor in the story with different voice acting and ways to play. I jumped in as Carla, which might not have been the best idea first time around, as she's all about being one hit away from death, delivering more damage when surrounded by zombies and at low health. Safe to say, I've died a lot in this game. So let's look at the presentation first. I'm playing on Xbox One X and S, and it's really of a very high standard. The environments have tons of detail. The atmosphere of LA itself, as you move from Bel Air to Santa Monica and Hollywood, is spot on. I can almost smell the ocean air in Venice Beach, and with zombies it's just as crazy it is on a normal day on the occasions I've actually walked down the boardwalk. Smaller details such as rotting food left out and general clutter from The Walking Dead interrupting a normal life is also great, and the character models and acting are also AAA. When it comes to the zombies themselves, the flesh system, yes that's F.L.E.S.H. it really comes into its own here. Skin, bone and tissue is all layered and modelled, so when you hit, slice or shoot a zombie, their bodies crumble in different ways. Burns, trauma and blood all come to life in great detail as you pop out eyeballs and smash jawbones from their joints with a variety of weapons you procure and find as you journey through. It's entertaining fare as well, with a light-hearted tone throughout. There are a few jump scares, but that is not supposed to be a game that gives you the willies. It's more about action and being a badass as you move through the day and night scenes to your final objective. When it comes to strategy, there's a lot here. There's an RPG element in the form of crafting and upgrading weapons and collecting and swapping out skill cards. You can add mods to the weapons to make them deal electric, fire and caustic damage and so on, and you must repair them to keep them in good condition. Skill cards can also be used for defensive and aggressive moves and buffs, which grant new powers and abilities such as dodging versus blocking or bleed and fire damage when you counter. It can be a little overwhelming at first, but you soon get used to swapping out cards and weapons based on what the current objective is. I've been stuck a few times, but with some time out to swap out weapons and cards, I've managed to eventually move on. Difficulty spikes are something you will face in this game, and there does seem to be a sudden ramp of difficulty once you get to Santa Monica Pier. From then on I noticed myself dying a lot, whereas before I saw the ocean, I only died when I made a silly mistake or wasn't concentrating on the task in hand. There's a fair chunk of gameplay in the main quest and a fair few side missions to complete as well. I got to the end boss and actually had to go back and do some side missions to grab some better guns and level up a little. I really did hit some walls playing this. Some people like to get their ass handed to them, whereas me, I prefer to have a moderate level of threat, but most of the time progress with multiple retries. Yes, I do hate the Dark Souls games. Thankfully though, you can also play this game in co-op, and it's way better with a friend if you can find an opportunity where you both have some free time at the same time. In fact, co-op is where this game is at. You actually get to see the character models in action, and it's far more fun slaying zombies when there's more alive people in the mix. Dead Island 2 is definitely one of 2023's AAA games. It has great production value, some well thought out gameplay mechanics, and thankfully, it's not all slightly clunky first person melee combat. There are guns in the game too, which will sate the appetite of people who love the right to bear arms. Dead Island 2 gets an excellent 8 out of 10.